What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and we're here on Madden 21 today. And this is not going to be a rebuild, although I am thinking about trying to get back into the Madden rebuilds. I'm going to see how it goes. Obviously, the last couple of years, I just did not enjoy my time doing it, but we'll see. We will see how it goes this year. But anyway, we're here today. We're doing a Jets franchise, and this is something I've sort of tried to do in the past, and then things just get in the way. Hopefully that won't happen this year, but I don't know. You never know. Anyway, we're here with the Jets. If you guys don't know, I'm a Jets fan, so I feel like I could probably give you guys a little bit more like insight to the team than just some random other person who's not a Jets fan can. At least give you guys some sort of players to look out for and see what we can actually make happen with what we've got here. So let's just take it position by position. We'll do a little roster overview, and we'll see if we get into a game. Actually, probably not. We'll probably do like a training or two. Anyway, starting at quarterback, we've got Sam Darnold here, who, in my opinion, got a little bit shafted in the overall department. I think he should be closer to like a 76, 77. Yeah, that's really not great. Obviously, he's not been the best quarterback in the NFL, but I definitely think he's better than the 27th ranked quarterback. I would say he's probably closer to 23 at the moment. I mean, you're kind of, nickel and diamond here with 4 spots in the mid 20s, but I think he should be a little bit better than that. I think most of what has kind of gone wrong in Sam Darnold's career so far, not entirely on him at all. Obviously, he deserves a little bit of the blame here and there, but I think more it's a product of not having any offensive linemen, not having any consistent receivers to throw to, and not having a good run game. You don't do that to a young quarterback and expect him to succeed. But anyway, the main point here is that this guy is very young. He just turned 23 in June, I believe. And he's younger than Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. It's like 2 other guys I thought of. I think possibly Kyler Murray. Oh, he's younger than Joe Burrow, who's just #1 pick this year, obviously. So, I mean, from a development standpoint, I think he's got some time. But we're going to be sticking with him, definitely. Joe Flacco, I think I'm probably going to end up cutting. I think I want to get James Morgan, those, not that we're really hoping to get reps for our backup quarterback. I'm hoping Sam Darnold's going to stay healthy all year. But James Morgan, who was a 4th round pick, I believe, by the Jets in this past draft, I would prefer to try to develop him up a little bit to be our backup quarterback. Onto running back, we've got Le'Veon Bell, who obviously had a pretty disappointing season last year. And again, not something that I put entirely on Le'Veon. I would say the vast majority of his struggles came because the offensive line was just crap. It was dog. Like, it was absolutely god-awful last year. Between that and Adam Gase's refusal to use him properly, he's not getting put in a good situation to succeed. So it's kind of similar to what I was saying about Sam Darnold. They did bring in Frank Gore in the offseason. He's 37 years old. I don't know how much longer, how much gas he's got left in the tank. If anything, I might end up moving him to fullback, and we could probably do some fullback dives with him. That's probably going to be his main use. They did draft Michael Pirine, I believe, maybe also in the 4th round. And he's a guy. He's not the fastest dude, but he's got some decent stats. Starting off with 80 trucking, he's got 90 carrying already. Change of direction's not awful at an 80. That's the same as Frank Gore. So we'll see what we can make happen with him. He's going to be more of a power back. But we'll see. We definitely need to get a speedy back in there at some point. On to the receiver group. Our best receiver is Jamison Crowder. And not that Jamison Crowder is a bad player, because he's not. He's really good in the slot. But he's not a #1 receiver. He's not even a #2 receiver, really. I mean, I guess he could be. But basically what I'm saying is he's not going to play on the outside. And we don't have a number 1 or 2 type receiver on this roster. I mean, you could say maybe Brashad Perriman could fill that role. Josh Doxson's on the COVID list, so he's not going to play this year. Denzel Mims, hopefully, will develop into that kind of player for us. I mean, he is 6'3", he's got 92 speed, which is nice. But so far in training camp, he's had some hamstring problems, so he hasn't done much. And that doesn't really bode well for a rookie that hasn't had any OTAs, minicamp, anything like that. So in real life, I don't know. That kind of sucks. But here in Madden, hopefully we can turn him into something. And I think I probably am going to start him out as my number 2 receiver. I'll probably have Brashad Perriman at the 1 and have Crowder in the slot. Tight end, we do have Chris Herndon, who obviously had a really good rookie year in 2018. He was suspended and injured in 2019, and I think he had like 1 catch or something like that. But definitely looking for a bounce back year from him. I think he could possibly be our franchise tight end. Trevon Wesco's not really much. He was, I think, a 3rd or 4th round pick that Mike McCagnon made in his final draft. Not great. But outside of that, we got Ryan Griffin, who they did sign to an extension, who performed like okay last year, but it was nothing to be excited about, really. But onto the offensive line, which I have mentioned multiple times was horrendous last year. Luckily for us, Joe Douglas came in and he did address it probably as much as he realistically could have in this offseason. He drafted Mekhi Becton in the 1st round. He does have hidden development. I believe that is superstar, but we'll wait the 500 downs and we'll see. Starts off at a 72 overall, 94 strength. I mean, this dude is a mountain of a man. Hopefully he can be our franchise left tackle because we've been struggling for offensive line since DeBerkeshaw Ferguson and Nick Mangold left. So looking at the rest of it, we brought back Alex Lewis, who was serviceable last year when he played. They also drafted Cameron Clark out of Charlotte, and maybe he can turn into something. He's obviously not looking great right now, but he is fairly young, so we'll see what he can do. They also did sign Conor McGovern in free agency, and the center spot was probably the worst position last year for the Jets, and McGovern hopefully will solidify that a little bit. Obviously, he's only a 74 overall. He's not the greatest center in the league, but he is at least starting caliber according to his rank in Madden, and I think he is starting caliber center in real life, so I was happy with that. They also brought in Greg Van Roten from the Panthers, I believe he played last year. So a little bit of veteran experience, veteran presence on the O-line. That's solid there. And George Fant got quite a deal. He really did. I don't really know about George Fant. I was never really a fan of him in Seattle, but maybe the Jets saw something in him and they were, I don't know. Hopefully he won't be bad, but especially with how much money he's making. But we do have Chuma Edoga here, who was a mid-round pick in Mike McCagnon's last draft, I believe. He was a mid-round pick. He might have been like later on in the draft, like 3rd, 4th, 5th round, somewhere in there, I believe. He's got some potential. I think he is currently sort of battling for this starting right tackle job, possibly. Basically it's between him and George Fant. But if he could just develop into a good backup tackle, I'd be happy with that. So on to the defense, we've got Henry Anderson, who is making a boatload of money. We're actually going to put him on the trade block. I'm really not interested in keeping him around. Nathan Shepard, who was really good last year against the run. John Franklin Myers was okay last year, I think, in his limited playing time, if I'm remembering who this guy is correctly. But I don't think he's really going to be anything for us. Now, Quinnen Williams definitely disappointed a little bit in his first year. I'm hoping he can turn it around. I've seen some pictures of him in training camp, and he still looks huge, but he looks slimmer. Like he looks closer to like an Aaron Donald. No, I don't want to say Aaron Donald because that dude is literally like a Greek god of a man. But he's sort of getting closer to that kind of build, like leaner but still massive than he was last year. Last year he's had some of that baby weight still on there. So hopefully he'll be better this year. Foley Fatukasi, that's another guy who's really good against the run last year. And Bronson Kaufusi, actually, they just transferred. They just switched him to tight end recently, so that's cool. Steve McClendon, old man on the D-line, but he is very, very good against the run. So we'll see how much longer he'll be around. And on to the linebackers, we do have Jabari Zuniga here, and I think it was a third-round pick in this year's draft. 84 speed. Doesn't have the worst pass rushing moves in the world. We'll see what he can do. I think what I'm going to end up doing, actually, is switching to a 4-3. But that's a discussion for a few minutes from now. Kyle Phillips, another guy that was kind of flashed a little bit here and there last season. But on the middle linebacker, CJ Mosley, sitting out the year because of COVID concerns. Really sucks. Yeah, really sucks, especially considering how much money he's making. The Jets they gave him like an $80-some million contract, and he's played a game and some change, I want to say. So he got hurt in the first game last year, and I think he came back for a little bit and left again. Not entirely sure on that one, but he missed basically the entire season. Avery Williamson is coming back from a torn ACL that he suffered last year in the preseason, I believe. And he is going to be our starting middle linebacker this year, as CJ Mosley is just not going to play, which does suck, but Avery Williamson is a really good player, so I don't think it's going to fall off too terribly much. They did bring in Patrick Onwuasor. I don't know how to say this guy's name, to be completely honest with you. More than likely, I'm just going to end up trading him because of that. But Blake Cashman is a guy that some people were excited about last year. I think he was a 6th-round pick. 6th? He was a late-round pick from the Jets, from Mike McCagnon's final draft. Very fast, 89 speed. Decent stats otherwise. Hopefully we can develop him. He is a little bit on the older side for being a 70 overall at 24, but we'll see what happens there. The rest of these guys, they're really not much. On to right outside linebacker, Jordan Jenkins did re-sign with the Jets on a 1-year deal in free agency, and depending on how he plays this season, we may look to bring him back. He's a guy I'm probably going to switch to defensive end once we switch to a 4-3. Jordan Willis, former... What was he? I don't remember what round he was drafted in, but if I remember correctly, he was pretty decently high. And he just kind of flamed out and found his way to the Jets. Terrell Basham, I don't know. We got a whole lot of these same sort of build guys. So maybe one or two of them will develop into something. But let's move on to the secondary. So we've got Pierre Desir, who the Jets brought over from the Colts in free agency. He is an 81. He is 29 years old. He's not the fastest guy. I mean, we'll see how he plays. I think he's on a 1-year deal. Let's see. Yeah. So he is only on a 1-year deal. Brian Poole, they did re-sign after last season. I don't remember what kind of deal he's on. Also only a 1 year. That kind of stinks. Would have preferred like a 2 or 3 year deal for Brian Poole. He was really good in the slot last year. So aside from that, Quincy Wilson, they also brought over from the Colts. And Bless Austin definitely had some flashes last year as well before being benched against the Steelers, I believe. Nate Hairston was... yikes. Bryce Hall, though. Bryce Hall was a draft pick this year by the Jets. And he is coming out of Virginia. Let's see, 5th rounder in the draft. So he starts out at a 67 overall. Not the fastest, but he definitely had some hype going into last season. And then he got hurt pretty early on. So that's kind of why he fell to the 5th round. But I like that pick. It's kind of low risk, high reward type pick there. So hopefully he can develop as well. Now, addressing the elephant in the room. Trading Jamal Adams. Let me scoot close for this one. Trading Jamal Adams was the best thing Joe Douglas has done since he became general manager of the Jets. The best move that he has made so far was trading Jamal Adams for what he got. Now, I used to love Jamal Adams. He used to be my favorite player in the Jets, and then he went all diva psycho and decided he didn't want to be there anymore and was doing all this shit on social media. Like, dude, you're under contract for 2 more years. You have 0 leverage here. And, you know, fans turned on him. Everybody hates him now. And good riddance. That's all I got to say. I was so happy that Joe Douglas didn't just fold and trade him for like a 4th round pick. He got a haul for one of the best safeties in the league. And I was very impressed with that. Especially considering he did draft Ashton Davis in the 2nd or 3rd round. I want to say. I think it's 3rd round in the draft. And I think at first he might have just been BPA, like, you know, best player they had on the board. But I thought he was kind of Marcus May insurance. Turns out he's going to end up being Jamal Adams insurance. So Ashton Davis is a guy that I'm pretty excited to see what he can do. The hit power is a little bit low, honestly, for what I think he should have. Not that it's the biggest stat in Madden, but I think he'll be solid for us as a rookie. And then also, in addition to draft picks, we trading Jamal Adams, we managed to get a starting caliber safety back. So Bradley McDougald is no slouch, and he should be fine for us. So once again, just Joe Douglas, round of applause to you, my dude. Round of applause there. So let's move on. Marcus May is going to be playing a strong safety, I guess. Kind of like him a little bit better at free safety, but I've been hearing a lot of great things about Marcus May from training camp. And he's basically just filling Jamal Adams' role and doing it really well. So no complaints. And then the special team situation, the Jets last season went through a few kickers. They had Kari Vedvik at first, and he was absolutely god-awful. Then they picked up Sam Ficken, and I believe he was there for the rest of the season. We're going to go with Brett Maher, though, because he's got 99 kick power, and that's pretty much the most important thing for a kicker in Madden. So Braden Mann here was actually a draft pick by the Jets, I believe. Where was he drafted? 6th round. He's got hidden dev, 95 kick power. So the Jets have needed a pretty solid punter for a little bit now. And I think Spider-Man is going to do it for us. If you guys haven't noticed, he looks pretty similar to Tom Holland. But here's just a look at the draft picks we've got over the next couple of years. So we have 2 first-rounders this year, as well as 2 third-rounders and 2 fifth-rounders. So that's from the Jamal Adams trade and the Leonard Williams trade with the Giants. And then next year we've got 2 firsts, and that's it. We have 1 of every other round from us. So look at how many is this? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. At the moment we've got 10 draft picks in the 2021 draft. I think the Jets, Joe Douglas has set up the Jets for success. Now all he's got to do, hopefully get some development out of some players. Hopefully Adam Gase develops as a coach, and he's got to nail those draft picks. And I think we're going to be in a good spot. All right, so I've made some cuts. I made like 1 or 2 signings, I believe. And now I want to make a trade or possibly 2. So we're going to see if the Raiders will accept this trade. Zay Jones is on the trade block. I'll be honest, the only reason I really want to get him is because I went to ECU, same time he did, basically. And he was incredible in college. And I just want to get my boy on the team. So Josh Dotson and a 7th round pick, will they accept? No, they will not. Okay. I really just want my guy. Why you gotta be, why you gotta do this? What if I give you a 5th? Oh my god, they don't want Josh Dotson at all, and they don't have any cap room. What about Frankie Louvu? No, I don't really want to give you Frankie Louvu. Oh my goodness. All right, what about a right end? I don't want to give you either of those guys either, damn it. Conor McDermott? They can't even afford it. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we get the trade to go through. I had to give up a little bit higher of a draft pick than I would have liked to, but I got my guy. So we sent a 4th round pick and Josh Dotson to the Raiders for Zay Jones. Now, the other trade I was considering making was getting Tony Pollard just to get some speed on the team, because that is something that we desperately lack, and it's just not good. So, do I want to give you Ryan Griffin? Honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to that. And I feel like I should give you a draft pick just to make things sort of fair. So how about I give you... You want the 7th round pick and Ryan Griffin? No, they do not. They don't like Ryan Griffin at all. How about a 6th? Nope. All right, let's throw a different player in there. All right, so we get the trade to go through. We give him Kyle Phillips and a 7th round pick for Tony Pollard. So we get some speed in the backfield, which is something we've desperately been needing. So I'm also going to sign Ron Leary, and I think that's going to be my last move that I'm going to make right now. So mainly that's just kind of going back to what I was saying about trying to, surround your young quarterback with protection and playmakers. So let's take a look at our lineup right now. This is subject to change because we do have to make like 5 more cuts, but this is roughly what it's going to be. Except the wide receiver group, that's going to look a little different. So defense, I actually decided to keep Patrick, however you say his last name. I'm going to have to figure that out by next video. But apparently his nickname is Peanut, so I may just call him that. But we're actually going to start him at left outside linebacker. CJ Mosley's not going to be playing. So this is kind of a rough sketch of what this team is going to look like this year. But let's go ahead and hop into a training and see how this team actually performs. All right, so in our first training here at the Jets, this is just a... Oh, okay. I'm going to have to turn that back on. This is just the tutorial, but we're doing a flood concept. So let's hit Ryan Griffin, and he comes down with that. Okay, so Ryan Griffin might end up being a good backup based on our first play in practice. And why is CJ Mosley playing? I don't know. But we missed that throw. That was just good coverage. Really should not have even thrown that to him. But we're going to look for Herndon here out of the backfield. He's not open. We're going to try to fit it to X. Crowder makes the catch. All right. So Crowder's looking good. Let's see if we can hit Crowder again on this out route. And that was good coverage, but we do end up coming down with the catch. So we got one more try here. And we got Crowder on the out route again, looks like. Let's try to fit it in there. Oh, threw it way too early. That was just a bad throw. So we only get bronze on our first training on offense. Now let's take a look at defense, where it looks like CJ Mosley is not in. That's strange. But we got Brian Cashman here, Avery Williamson playing this little zone. Give this guy some help. And we get the sack. There we go. Who got that? Darren Lee. Right. So Darren Lee was a guy that I actually brought back. He was just sitting in free agency. And we get another sack. All right. That was Jabari Zuniga. So the rookie's showing out here in practice. But we did bring back Darren Lee. He is a speedy former first-round pick, obviously by the Jets. And Le'Veon Bell is just going to torch us there. And we can't get the hit stick on him. So we do not succeed on that play. But we'll see if Darren Lee can kind of revive his career a little bit. I got switched up on the players there. But he does make a nice tackle there in the open field on Le'Veon Bell. So that is always nice. So we got one more shot here to get silver. And little short passes. Good breakup by Bless Austin. And we get it come up with the pick off the tip. There we go. So we get 4 out of 5 on that. So before we end this first video of the Jets franchise, we are going to trade Henry Anderson. We're going to be sending him to Minnesota for a 2021 third round pick. And with that being done, hope you guys did enjoy this little intro video to the Jets franchise. I know it was, obviously these intro videos are kind of long and going over roster and stuff like that, but I find it interesting. So anyway, next video will be week 1 of the regular season, as there is no preseason this year. So we're going to be taking on the Bills. So hopefully we can walk out of there victorious. But with that being said, hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button. That would mean a lot to me. Also, if it is your first time stopping by, would really appreciate a sub as well. So I'll see you guys in the next one.